I have over 1,000 hours in Valorant and I still suck, so I'm training like a pro for 7 days. Valorant was my first ever PC game and first real FPS game ever. This was me in 2020.
That was a bad one.
66 to raise, 78 to sniper.
Ever since then, I'll just get to plat and then I get too scared to queue after that. But recently I decided that I want to get better, a lot better. So here's how I'm training, what I'm looking at, and what I want to achieve for the next 7 days. I was a collegiate athlete, and if I take my sports background and how I've improved things in the past, I know watching my gameplay back is going to be important. So I decided for 7 days of training, I was going to watch my gameplay back 3 different times throughout the week. Once in the beginning of the week before I started playing, once in the middle, and once at the end to see if I actually improved. So I built a database for myself in Notion where I linked all of my recordings, I tracked all of my games, progress, and notes. But I didn't think that that alone was going to be good enough. So you will see a few other things pop up throughout the week. For my goals, I wanted to watch at least 3 VODs, like I mentioned. I wanted to play at least 2 comp games a day, and I wanted to reach Diamond for the first time. Next up, I queue up my VOD thinking that I'm going to watch myself just dominate in one of my games, and then what I see is absolutely disgusting. And I'm just gonna give you the Cliff Notes version of the game and of my notes themselves, but I'll let you watch a few of the rounds. I just highlight some of the things that I'm gonna talk about and some of the things that I'm gonna work on. Blindness.
Reloading.
One hookah.
I think Phoenix still has a flash.
Phoenix elbow. Then cubby.
Jumping shots.
Last player standing.
One hookah, one CT.
30 on.
No!
Oh no!
Plant the spike.
One heaven.
Chamber shatter.
Spike down A.
I'm gonna TP.
Alright, TP.
One spot set. Heaven.
Last player standing.
Fully smoked.
GG.
Woman and two.
Last player standing.
Rain is there from the Smurf.
Peek off me. Don't swing until they see me.
Chamber still shower.
Right there.
One enemy remaining.
One backside, Phoenix.
Phoenix here.
Clearing out.
Drop smokes.
Smoking.
Fully smoked.
Flashing backside. You CT.
One
Phoenix
enemy
still there.
remaining.
Could be flank too.
Chamber.
No, he's elbow. So watching this VOD was incredibly eye-opening for me. It felt like I was watching a completely different player. It felt like I was watching an Iron player, which was crazy to me. And I've watched other VODs before, and it's not like I always play like this because I don't. But like I was sprinting around corners. I was super undisciplined, and for whatever reason, I was playing Breach, and I never play Breach, right? Like, so I was just uncomfortable a lot of the times, and just a lot of things that I could fix and a lot of things that I knew were wrong, but in the moment I wasn't really paying attention to. So I made a long list of specific notes, a long list of things that I wanted to change and things that I wanted to work on. I'm not going to go over all of those things here, but I'm going to give you the list of things that I wanted to work on throughout the week. So the first thing that I wanted to work on this week was crosshair placement. I wanted my crosshair placement to be good at all times, even in down times, always head level, and I wanted to be ready for a fight at all times. Second thing was movement. I wanted to stop peeking diagonally. I wanted to stop running around corners. The third thing I wanted to work on, it's just very simple. I wanted to mute people when I needed to. A lot of times I was getting tilted when I didn't have to. It doesn't really show in this VOD, but it did show in the other VOD. Another thing I wanted to work on was just playing characters and roles that I was comfortable in. I consider my best agent to be Astra, but here I wanted to play Omen because it was going to allow me to get in people's heads more and gave me more flexibility, which was just more aligned with my playstyle overall. But throughout this week, I do play other controllers and sometimes other roles. And the last two things I wanted to work on was to take more fights and to stop complaining. Watching these VODs showed me that it wasn't my teammates' fault. Every single round, pretty much every single time, there was something that I did wrong. Focusing on what my teammates were doing wrong wasn't going to help me. Watching both of the VODs also showed me that I kind of have two modes. There's times where I'm completely dialed, my crosshair placement is on point, and then there's other times, like in all of these videos, where I'm just kind of looking at the floor and I'm very lazy and I'm not disciplined. And if I can find a way to bring my baseline up to where I'm just more disciplined overall, I think I'll be a much better player. So that's going to be my focus this week. Day 1, I realized that I had no idea what good crosshair placement actually looked like. I just knew I knew what it didn't look like. So I did a quick search, what does good crosshair placement look like, and I didn't really find anything that was aligned with my learning style. So I just instead tried to imitate creators and pros that I thought had good crosshair placement. And I went in a custom match and just did a bunch of walkthroughs on maps, trying to have good crosshair placement the whole time. I also played one match this week, already not hitting my goal of playing at least 2 comp games a day, but I played one match and I did finally, for the very first time, rank up to Plat 2, which I was excited about, and I'm not sure why I didn't play again. I think I was just starting to feel that fear again, where if I played again, I might lose my rank and go back to Plat 1. And day 2, I totally forgot to record, but I did the same exact thing as day 1. I did the custom stuff, I did death matches, and then I played one game. The game went so bad and I lost that I think I got caught back in that mode of being afraid to play in Platinum. But at the end of the day, I think I realized that if I ever wanted to improve, I was going to have to get over that fear and just keep playing. Yeah, GG's you. Day 3, I played 7 games. I went 4-3, and I still hadn't watched a VOD back yet, so I wasn't sure if I had improved at all. I just knew that I was feeling a little bit more comfortable, but I did notice that most of the time it was hard for me to actively think about these things that I was trying to improve mid-game. Having watched the videos back now, I also noticed that sometimes my crosshair placement was okay, you know, it was decent. And other times I would go back to what I was doing before, where I was just kind of looking at the floor or not ready for an enemy. I was still very inconsistent, but I didn't know this real time because I hadn't watched a VOD yet. So day 4, I had to move back just for some personal reasons, so I put it off a day. I came back and it was a reset, and a couple interesting things happened this day after I watched my VOD. The first thing is basically just what I was talking about before. I was still doing a lot of what I wanted to fix. I just wasn't doing it as much, which was good, but I wanted to find a way where I could do these things without having to think about it. Second thing that happened is that all of a sudden I was super eager to start playing more, and I think it's because I kind of had rivals. One, my duo was ranking up faster than I was, which was making me mad, and 2, there was a guy in my premier team that is fairly new to the game that just reached Plat, and I really wanted to prove to myself that I was better and I deserved a higher rank. I didn't always play well, but I was starting not to care what the other ranks were, and I was just playing my game every single game. Many games I played against diamonds and it didn't matter to me. I was still playing my game, which I felt good about because literally a few days ago I was scared to play against platinums. Day 6, I only played one comp game, and I spent a lot of time in custom games and a lot of time in death matches just trying to get used to the crosshair placement and being the player that I wanted to be. Something that I noticed here is that I still really didn't know what great crosshair placement or movement looked like. I was just doing my best, again, to imitate, and like you'll see a couple times where I just noticed like, yo, you're doing that wrong, let's redo it. So I was kind of self-correcting myself. I think I'll make another video where I just specifically focus on the movement and the crosshair, but here I was just doing my best to walk through the map, and I would just correct if I needed to. And I did this on multiple maps pretty much the whole night. Day 7, I start off by doing the normal stuff. I'm in custom ranges, just doing my best to imitate just like the previous days, and I play comp. And I'll show you my record and how I played in a second, but I think the more important question is, did I improve? Did my crosshair placement, did my movement get better at all after working on it for a week? So the clip showing now is the before footage. It's what my crosshair placement looked like on day 1.
Reloading.
One hookah.
I think Phoenix still has a flash.
Phoenix elbow. In cubby.
Jumping shots.
Last player standing.
One hookah, one CT.
30 on.
And here's a few clips of after I did the training. Let me know if you hear anything.
Could be flank guys, careful.
One safe. Land CT.
Last player standing.
He's hit 40.
One enemy remaining.
So as you can see, all my problems aren't magically fixed. My crosshair placement still gets lazy sometimes. It's not perfect because I have no idea what perfect actually looks like, so that's something that I have to look into. I'm still W keying around corners sometimes. I'm also still just way better on Astra than I am on Omen. Sometimes I throw my flashes into the floor. I'm just not as comfortable on this character yet. But I think overall I'm more consistent and my crosshair placement is better. And at the end of this game, I finally reached Plat 3 and now I'm 85 RR away from Diamond for the first time. And then right after this game, I lost my first game in Plat 3 and I logged off.